All right. Woo! Let's go again, shall we? It's your boy Chadsky putting out another good video. This is going to be a lot of fun. This video is fun. Okay? And I want to appreciate everybody for jumping in, watching the videos, jumping in and interacting on the streams we're doing. If you like the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy the content, give us a thumbs up on the video. And today we are going to talk about the 10 biggest mistakes that I've made in Rock. Okay? Because it's a cautionary tale. It's a learning tale for many of you. Things not to do. With that being said, if you want to join my Discord, I got the Discord link in the description. And that's where a lot of these ideas come from. We got into that conversation on my Discord the other day. What are some of the funniest, biggest mistakes you've ever made in Rock? And man, I got some good ones. I got some really good ones. And so as we're just chilling here, we've been fighting, but now we're just kind of chilling and hanging out. But wanted to put this out here. So this is what it is. My top 10 mistakes in Rock, okay? And there's one thing I need to go find real quick. Okay. It is the absolute worst, okay? So I'm going to put this list up here, and we're going to go from 10 to 1, okay? And this should be a lot of fun. Okay, so here we go. All right, I'm going to throw this up here. Top 10. Number 10, Vindicator Tavern. I don't know if you guys have any idea what this is, but when you get into KvK, like the minute you get into KvK, it is the absolute worst, okay? The Vindicator Tavern is the absolute worst investment. It takes your gold heads, it takes your gems. You have to spend an insane amount of gems just to get anything. I think I spent 100,000 gems one time just getting like 10 heads of like Pakal back in the day. And I was like, never again am I messing with this. Don't ever mess with the Vindicator Tavern. If you're trying to get a commander unlocked, I guess you can try to do it. But even if you're just trying to get it unlocked to get the 10 gold head bundle, it's going to take so many gems. And that is one that I made a mistake once and promised never to do, okay? Well, this gets better, okay? Because we go to number 9. All right. Anybody that's been in this game, I was in KvK2 once. I had gotten El Cid on a couple of MGEs because I was fighting like crazy in K1 and was killing the kill events. And I got a bunch of heads in El Cid. A bunch. So what did I do? Let me go find my boy down here. So what did I do? I went and where is he? Where is he? This guy. He's hiding from me. El Cid, probably the most unattractive commander. Okay. Way too heavy. He's top heavy. I don't like this. But you go back in here and look when I opened this dude. Back in 2019. Oh, just gross, guys. It's over 5 years ago. Just crazy. And I maxed this guy for K2 before I maxed my Mehmed. And it was probably the worst mistake ever because Mehmed was so much better and did so many other things. And El Cid, back then it was like, hey, do you run YSG with El Cid? And you kind of could, but it's just awful. Worst investment ever. He was a gold key commander, but you kept getting heads from MGE for him, and I just got all excited. I liked his little instant proc he did. But after K2, y'all, I never used this guy, like ever. And we've all got those stories. We were all noobs one time, and there's a lot of stuff on my list that you're going to find out and be like, Chadsky, you were a freaking noob. But El Cid was number 9, the worst mistake I ever made. I'll never forget it. I was in K2. I was deciding between those two, and Mehmed would have been so much better in K2. I eventually got Mehmed maxed. I used him so much. I still used him up to like a year and a half ago, just because he was getting museum buffs a year ago, and it was great. So El Cid, never again. Never again. The only time I think I ever use El Cid is he's got a little bit of march speed when I'm trying to reinforce with like T5 archers, reinforce garrisons or rallies. It's the only time I'll ever use him. And so that was my 9th worst. My 8th worst, okay, was no gear in KvK1. I didn't even know what it was. Oh my gosh. I was just over here doing, this is all I thought you could do at the blacksmith. Just get materials. I didn't even know what this material was for. I had no idea. And then I come over here and I'm like, oh, I've got all this equipment. And back then it was all this stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go outfit everybody with equipment. I didn't even realize that you had certain things. I didn't even run that. Like the best KvK1 piece of equipment and pound for pound, material for material, the best piece of equipment in the history of this game is the Vanguard Halberd, okay? And this is a spear. It's fantastic. It gives 9% stats, 5 defense and 4 health. You crit that thing, you got like 12% or 11% defense and health. It's crazy. And so I didn't even have this stuff going. I didn't have anything. I think I had this, and I had this for my archers, and then I had this for my cavalry. Okay, 5% cavalry defense actually wasn't all that bad. But I didn't even know what equipment was. I had no idea. Like, I literally was running it down. I was running T5s. I was whaled up in KvK1, so I was still doing really good. But I go up against this dude named Cat Carbon, okay? And he was another whale, and his Ethel wouldn't die. And I'm like, how is your Ethel? And then he showed me his gear, and I'm like, what is that? Like, what is this gear you're speaking of? And then about halfway through KvK1, I go into making gear, and then the rest is history. I was addicted to gear after that and equipment. So that was my 8th worst mistake. Just bad mistake. Oh, man. I killed so many troops. It was bad. Number 7, leadership gear. Holy cow. Now, there's an asterisk here, and I'll explain that in a second, okay? But leadership gear is kind of... It was really tough because we thought a couple of years ago, we thought we were going to be getting more field leadership commanders. Okay. So I started down the road of making this gear right here. Look at this. This is my infantry leadership set. And forever, I never put Trajan in the field. After about 2 years ago, I quit putting Trajan in the field. I had too many other marches, and I like to run 3 calves. And I only had this gear for one thing and one thing only. I put it on Trajan and ran it in Canyon, and that was it. Like every time I looked at this gear, I wanted to throw up. Now, it did kind of help be somewhat serviceable because I would go put it on Hera and have it as a city defense as I've got all my troops out, all my gears out. So it kind of helped there a little bit, but honestly, for the investment, you guys have it's like going to the dark side. Like, I literally had to crit this stuff. I was having to get like 4 and 5 prints. And then now you've seen what I've done with it. I've literally made a big mistake with the boots. I should have just gotten the set piece for boots. I get the Shios because it was just easy to get, right? And I think that's what started the crit and the project was because I had Shios critted for leadership. Okay, but now I don't have the 4-piece set, and Trajan was so slow in the field, you got to have the 4-piece set. So I was stuck all the way around. We never had a field commander, but there's an asterisk by this, okay? If you see here, I put an asterisk by it because our boy Philip II is coming into the game. You got me? Philip II's coming into the game, and there's some things that I can do with this guy. Here's our boy, okay? And there's some things we finally get a viable field commander that's a really good amplifier. And there's some things I can do with this guy is you're going to get 35% defense on your infantry, which is kind of overkill. You already got so much defense. You can run 2 different troop types and be more tanky, or you can just run 1 troop type. That's the key, y'all. Oh, and all of a sudden, this gear is kind of starting to be worth it. Okay, I'm not saying it's worth it. I'm just saying now it's just not dead weight sitting on my Trajan for Canyon. Because I even tiered this thing up, y'all. I tiered it up so I could get more troops on my Canyon Trajan. You want to know how many troops I put on my Trajan? I mean, look at this. Where am I at? Am I still in first here? Yeah, I'm just hanging out in Lost Kingdom, just waxing people. But if you look at let me go hit some. I guess I can't hit somebody. I'll go over here to Sunset. Let me just hit somebody. I'm not going to hit you, Buster. Don't worry. I have 134,000 troops on my Trajan, and that's without an ancient stratagems. It is just a ton of troops, and my Canyon is uber strong when it comes to that. So That's what that gear was used for. So golly, at least I get an asterisk because our boy, he's coming. The cavalry is coming. Our boy is coming. Did you guys also notice this dude was renowned for just kind of having one eye, had a scar? Look at that. Crazy. Val Kilmer, the actor, played him in that movie, Alexander the Great, that Colin Farrell was in. And he played the father, Philip II, and he played a great role. And so that is really, really cool to kind of see that. So I can't wait for that dude because it's actually going to make my leadership gear not so awful. All right. The sixth one. And people who know me know that I have the arch formation. I got the goods when it comes to the arch stuff, guys. Okay, let me show you some of this stuff for the arch formation stuff. I've got it everywhere. Okay, I went all in on arch. Everybody knew that. Everybody knew exactly what had happened. And so I go in and I've got this kind of stuff hanging. This is my Cav stuff. This is the thing that popped it off. I got this 2 weeks before Armaments came out, or right when Armaments came out. I got it 2 weeks after Armaments came out, over 2 years ago, y'all. Two years ago. Okay, and then so what do? I freaking ask, what do I do now? I got the special inscription. What do I do? Like, people had never seen a special inscription. It was just incredible. So everybody said, you got to go all in on arch, and I'm like, I do? And they were like, yeah, you got to go all in on arch. And this is before Smite. So Attila Takeda was really the only thing that you really had it for. So I go all in on arch, okay, and I start developing. I get this set up, okay, my infantry arch. Here's my infantry arch, okay. It's wild what I had. And not only that, I wasn't pulling wedge. So you want to see what's crazy? Here's my second Cav arch. My second Cav arch. It's wild. Okay, you want to see something even crazier? This is my archer arch. Just dumb. And while I'm pulling this, and the reason why it was a massive mistake was because all these skill damage commanders started coming out. Joan comes out. Okay, CPO comes out, obviously. And then you get up here into some of these others. Huo comes out. You had CPO, like I said. You had Zuge come out. You had Herman come out. You had Boudica come out. You had all these massive skill damage commanders. And I'm just chilling with Arch. So I was getting my ass kicked in Canyon. I wasn't getting my ass kicked in the field, but I should have been doing much better if I would have been opening all those armaments for Wedge. Because I did nothing but bought Arch for the first year. And so now that my arch is completed, and I got infantry and cavalry all squared away, Smite and my Attila set all squared away, I finally started going to Wedge about 6-8 months ago. So it's coming around. My Wedge stuff is starting to come around, but it was a massive mistake. However, if you notice, there is an asterisk there. Because about a year ago at this time, or a little bit over a year ago, Gorgo came out in the fall of 2023. Okay. They put out a commander that does Smite. And with her and Luce, all of a sudden, my account skyrocketed in value. And I mean skyrocketed. Because I was so far ahead of everybody else with Arch. But you guys got to understand, it was a pride-swallowing siege to get to that point. Like, pride-swallowing. Like, it was incredible. I could run Attilas all day long. But I couldn't do anything else. So now that we finally have Smite, now that we've got some commanders I can put it on, it turned out to be a good investment, but it was the worst decision I made at the time and for a good year and a half. So that's where I was with the arch formation. So from there on the arch formation, we move on to the fifth. The fifth thing that happened to me that's just brutal, okay? And it happened about 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, it happened one by accident and then one because I just didn't know. Okay, and that is Sacred Grips and Mountain Crushers. Oh, guys. Okay, first of all, true transparency. Okay, we're talking Sacred Grips and Mountain Crushers are 2 pieces of equipment I forged, all right? I had Sacred Grips, and this was 100% a mistake. I was trying to find, you got to remember, back then, this was like 3 or 4 years ago. Back then, if you hit this quick forge button, it just forged it real quick. And I accidentally hit it. And this thing forges. I already had 3 glove sets, 3 set gloves. I already had 3 of these. I didn't need it. I don't know what had happened. I was so mad at myself. I had to immediately dismantle it because I was trying to get like a ring or a horn or something crafted. But I lost 20 legendary materials. I was sick for a week. I was so mad because back, guys, 3-4 years ago, especially 4 years ago when that happened, you couldn't get this stuff. It was absolutely brutal. So that was a massive mistake that I had made, and I immediately rectified it, and it was a huge cost right off the bat. And then after that, guys, oh my God, this thing right here, Mountain Crushers. These things were the worst. I was so excited because it was my very first legendary piece of equipment to get. Somehow, I can't remember how I got it. Somehow I got it and I forged it. And I was all proud. I had 8% attack. It wasn't critted or anything. There was no iconic back then. And I felt pretty good about it. And I go through K2, I think at the time. And I finally get with people who know a little bit about the game. And they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, what do you mean, what am I doing? And they were like, get the health on the set boots. And I'm like, oh, so health is better? They were like, yes. And that's when I learned, like, holy cow. So I dismantled this. Now, there's other pieces of equipment I've dismantled before too, okay? But those were the two worst. The Mountain Crushers and the Sacred Grips were the two that I lost 20 legendary material in each one. I did use the Mountain Crushers for K2, but I don't know why. I should have gotten rid of those or should just never have made them. And I was all proud and I was showing it off to people, and people were like, bro, why are you getting attack for cavalry? I was like, cavalry likes attack, right? They attack things. That's how I thought back then. So, massive mistake. Don't make those mistakes, okay? You always want to go with the set boots for the cavalry and for your gloves. You can do Sacred Grips if you try to set up like a 2x2x2 piece. But I just say go with the Eternal Gloves, are the best way to go, okay? So that was my 5th worst thing. Okay, now we're going to get into the top 4. Now, these are literally human mistakes. And coming in at number 4, pulling the pass Garrison in KvK5. We are in KvK5. We are fighting. We were in 2080 at the time. We're just chilling at A seed, nowhere near Imperium. They force us into we were in an HA, right? And so we go down, let me kind of show you. We go down to this zone down here in HA. So we're in the bottom left zone. We go over and fight a zone 5, okay? And then we get up into zone 6. And this is what was so brutal about this. Any pass you get into, somehow we got the pass against BG, which was 1008. And 1175. And BG finished, I think, semifinalists that year in their realm. And oh well, they were off the Korean Kingdom. They were crazy good. And then we were fighting Mimi in 1175. And they put them against us in A seed. Both of them were Imperial. We got against us in A seed. And our campmates were like a 3,000 or a 2,800. Or they were such a young kingdom in their first KvK. And they were just it was an Indonesian kingdom, and they were just so green and so new to the game. They had no idea. We're fighting like crazy on a pass, and we have it, and we're keeping them out of our zone 6, and we're fighting hard. I'm running the Garrison, I think at the time. We were running Xeno YSS, and like me and anybody else that fights at a pass and that swarms down rallies and stuff, well, be careful if you're the Garrison. You're swarming down rallies. Because I literally pulled my troop out of the Garrison, a freaking Dragon Lancer gets put up, and they take the pass. They murdered it, and they took the pass. It was a massive mistake and blunder for me. It was huge. It was the 4th worst thing I'd ever done. And so when they put that new mechanic in the game to where you can now have to approve taking out a Garrison captain, or you can turn that off for 24 hours. That was the best thing to happen. And I thought that was for me personally, because that came out and I was like, yep, I've done that before. And many Garrison players know everybody's done that. Okay. Number 3. Yes. 201 passports. Y'all haven't lived until you've been the R5 of your kingdom and you put 201 passports in the Alliance shop. So we had a player that was, we were either kicking out of the kingdom or he was leaving on good terms or whatever. We always liked to get passports. We didn't care. I mean, even if they were dead weight, we helped them get their passports. And I'm telling you, I still regret it to this day. I was a meme in Rock for a while. Okay. Because what I'm trying to do, and if you go here to your shop and you come down here and you're gonna put things into the shop. I click this. I clicked the button, okay? And when I did, I thought it replaced it, because if you're on an OS account and you're playing on your game or whatever, or on your phone or whatever, it'll replace it. So you can just type in 20, and that's what I did. But I'm on a PC right now, and you can see if you click here and then click here and then you come over here and click on it, you're either going to click the right or the left side. And I did this 2-0 for 20 passports. And me, just because I'm so impulsive and go so fast, I hit restock. And the second I hit restock, people lost their minds. First of all, Peace lost her mind because she was taking all the credits and making sure we were able to fight for KvK. So I spent 20 million credits. No problem. Okay. Number two, we had to go tell everybody, do not take the passports. We got to get them the players. Don't take the passports. So everybody starts taking passports. And even to this day, let me find my guy. This is what this looked like for everybody. For everybody that has any idea of what happened and what that looks like, I still get trolled today. Look at my boy here. Okay. Here's Crix hanging out, my guy. And look what he still has to this day in his Alliance shop, or in his album. More Daddy Chadsky added passport pages times 201 to the Alliance inventory. Everybody basically took that meme, took the 200 passports, and I just got absolutely trolled. And it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal, but it was fun, and it was fun loving. I had a crew of people that really loved me, and it didn't matter, right? I was busting my ass and putting so much time in, but it was just so bad. Massive mistake. Okay, number two. All right, number two is kind of an interesting one. Sovereign keys before crystal mine. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me give some context to this. Okay, the second worst thing I did, because it cost me a lot of money, was when you get into KvK, you get into Lost Kingdom. Okay, one of the big crystal quests, when you make your crystal mine here, they give you your crystals that you can go regenerate, right? And then they give you the quests. One of the big quests, the big challenges for seasonal challenge, is this right here. To open 200 sovereign keys. So what you do is you hold on to your sovereign keys all off season. Okay. And honestly, during KvK, because you've already opened these, you get to 200. Okay. So once you have 200 sovereign keys, the minute you get into Lost Kingdom, so I thought, you open up your sovereign keys. You come over here, you go to your sovereign key thing, you click open them all, 200, and you get that quest if you're in Lost Kingdom. Not so fast, my friends. This building has to be built. I opened 200 sovereign keys, and this wasn't even built. And then I realized it wasn't built, and I was like, well, okay, well, let me just go build it real quick, but I'm going to get the quest, right? I built it. I go into the quest, and it was sitting right here to go 0 out of 200. I was so pissed. Oh, I was so mad. And so I had to literally go in and acquire these stupid bundles. They come out with them, the Gathering of Heroes or the Flames of War. And then every day I had to hammer this guy, and to get the 200 keys back, to go back in a few days later and get that opened up. Because those who fight at a high level, you're trying to get as many quest challenges done as possible to get your crystals, your crystal intake and your crystal spent up as high as possible to make you the best you can be before you get to Zone 5. I had to go back and redo this. Oh my gosh. So I essentially opened 400, and I opened 200 starting at 0. So that was a massive mistake on my part, and one of the worst things I had ever done. And last but not least, I kid you not, and I'll show you exactly how it happened. Okay. Skillful, Craftsman, and KvK4 in Zone 4. Okay, follow me here, fam. We're in KvK4. All right. This was the worst mistake I had ever made. All right. And I'm sitting up. I don't even think I had R5 at the time. I was either R4 or R5. We're in KvK4. I'm in 2080. Devil's Knight used to be a streamer, okay? And she was in our kingdom. And she was really good with territory, and she was running all the maps in the territory. Okay, let me go find an HA. We're gonna talk about this together, fam, because I think you're gonna be interested to see how this played out. Okay, where is my, there it is. Okay, let's go to one of these. All right, it doesn't matter which one. KvK4. Oh, somebody got cut there. We're up here at the top, okay? And you can see the map. We are going right here. So pretend there's no territory in this area right here. And in fact, let's just go to a KvK4 that's kind of just, or let's just go to a heroic anthem that just kind of started. What about this one? It's not open yet. What about this one? 34 days. What about this one? Okay, we'll go with this one. All right, so it's got 34 days left. Oh my gosh. Okay, so anyways, we're up here, okay? We're coming out of this pass right here in Heroic Anthem. We're in Fire Camp, all right? Or I don't know what they call it in HA. And we're dropping a fort right here, right underneath this bastion right here. And we're flagging out to it. We got 2 lines of flags going, but we're flagging out to it with our main alliance. Devil's Knight is on stream, and I gotta find the stream because her face turns bright red. She's on stream, and I'm running the kingdom, right? And she's trying to be cool about it, but she was like, "What the F did you just do?" She pops Craftsman. Okay, we get in the flag, we start building flags, and we're all over here running towards our fort. And the idiot I am is like, "Don't we have a skill to run faster?" And I go down, I click on the skill, I go to Unbridled, I hit Unbridled. And I was like, why don't we just hit Unbridled here? And the minute I get done saying it, I hear Dev say, no, Chad. And I click it, and she's like, oh, no. And we totally nerf our Skillful Craftsman, because if you hit another alliance skill, it takes away from the Skillful Craftsman. So we couldn't build flags as fast. And I completely messed up the whole zone. Completely messed it up. We had to fight our way out here. Well, luckily, we were overpowered. Or overpowering. But it just took us an extra day and a half to get to the bastion we needed, to push through to get to this bastion, and to try to make sure we get over here to the sanctuary. It was such a bad, it was actually this bastion we were trying to get to. It was so bad, but I just will never forget. And if I can find it, I'm going to add it to the clip because you're going to see her face. And it's like, no, Chad. But it was so good and all in good fun. And it's what makes this game so much fun. Those are experiences you'll never forget. Guys, that was like 4 years ago. I've been playing this game so long. Luckily, I haven't had anything that boneheaded in the last couple of years, or really in the last year. I'm sure there are things, but this has always been a fun video, and letting everybody know it's okay to make mistakes. Don't let anybody big time you in this game. Don't let anybody act like they're the end all be all and they know everything in this game, because everybody opened this game and logged in for the first time. Everybody did. And guess what happened? They didn't know shit when they did. They had no idea what to do. So that's what I'm always saying. Stay humble. Okay, be cool with the players that are just trying to figure out this game and the players that are just trying to figure out how to play. And because we were all there at one point. That's the one thing I will always say. The minute somebody says, oh, you noob, you know what? Shut up. Just shut your face, okay? Because you were a noob too once. So have some grace and be kind and get these people caught up and experienced and up to date, because one day they'll be in your shoes where they know everything. Just like you were in their shoes and you didn't know anything. So stop being an a-hole. Don't be an asshole. Don't be a jerk, okay? Because we were all noobs at one point, and I think that's the grace that we all have to have. If you guys enjoyed the video, throw a thumbs up. And if you like the channel, be sure to subscribe. I love doing these videos, and I thought we would do kind of a fun-loving one so you guys can kind of see some of the mistakes that I've made. And here it is one more time. Get you some. I've got more. There's much more, but these kind of made the top of the list, okay? And so hopefully it's a little bit of a cautionary tale for you, and hopefully it keeps you from making those same mistakes. And if you guys want to rib me in the chat, if you guys want to rib me in the comments and you want to get after me and flame me, go nuts, because we've all been there. And with that being said, much love, broskies. Have a good one.